guys, this is your Tita in China, and today we're back with a new Living in China video. This is part 3 of the how to get a non-tourist Chinese visa. In the first video, which I will link up here, I talk about the business visa, the family or the dependent visa, the student visa, and a general overview of the work visa or the Z visa. In part 2, which is right here, I talk about how to teach English legally in China. And right now, part 3, we're going to talk about how to get an overseas employment certificate or an OEC. But before we move on with the video, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Emmeline and I am your Tita in China. I am currently based in Guangzhou, but before that I lived in Shenzhen, and overall I have been in China for almost 5 years. I do skincare videos as well as living in China videos, and skincare videos come out every Sunday and living in China videos come out every Wednesday or Friday or both. It depends on how much time I have to make videos that week. So if skincare or living in China related videos are interesting to you, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and ring the bell so that you will know the next time your Tita in China will upload a new video. And of course, don't forget to follow me in my social media. The links are in the description box. So without further ado, let's talk about getting an OEC. If you think that you have to go through so many loops to find an employer in China and to process your Z visa, then you're going to be in for another ride if you're going to get your overseas employment certificate. And yes, you definitely need an OEC if you're exiting the country on a Z visa. Before you exit the country on a work visa, the immigration officer will ask you for your OEC, and if you don't have that, you cannot exit the country. So the OEC is very, very important, and it's just as important as getting a proper work visa. The thing with the OEC is that you're not the only one who needs to do the legwork. Your employer needs to do a lot of things as well. Just like getting a work visa, getting an OEC is also a two-step process, and it begins with your employer going to either the embassy in Beijing or the consulates in Shanghai and Guangzhou to get your contract authenticated. In other words, your employer needs to personally go to the embassy or to the consulates to get your documents red ribboned. They will also need to get their business license and their company profile first notarized and then authenticated by the embassy or the consulates. So once you get your Z visa, the first thing that you need to do is to warn your employer that you still need another at least 2 weeks to 1 month to process your OEC, and that they will need to do several steps on their end to make sure that you will get your OEC and you're able to exit the country. So that's the first thing you need to do. Tell your employer that after getting your Z visa, you still need time to get your OEC. The next thing that you need to do is to ask your employer to go to the nearest consulate, which is either in Shanghai or in Guangzhou, or to the embassy in Beijing, and to get your employment contract authenticated. Your employer needs to get their business license, company profile, as well as their Chinese citizen ID translated into English and then notarized by a Chinese Notary Public. After they get all of these documents notarized, they can submit it together with your employment contract either to the consulate or the embassy of the Philippines to get it authenticated or red ribbon. Usually, it only takes a couple of days for them to process all of your documents. Afterwards, they can send it to you or courier it to you to the Philippines. While they're doing all of that, if you did not get a medical certificate for your Z visa, then now is the time for you to find a DOH accredited clinic for you to do your medical certificate. You will need the medical certificate in the last step of getting your OEC. But if you already did your medical for the Z visa, you can use that certificate, but there's no need to notarize that anymore. Once you get the authenticated or red ribbon employment contract as well as the business documents from your employer, you can now go to the POEA. When you are applying for your OEC, you need to submit these documents: the authenticated or red ribbon employment contract, authenticated and red ribbon business license, company profile and Chinese citizen ID, your passport, your work visa, which is inside your passport, your certificate or certificates of employment. You can use the one you submitted for your work visa, but there's no need to red ribbon this or there's no need to get this notarized. You will also need to submit a copy of your PRC license if you're a licensed teacher, or if not, you're going to have to submit your TEFL or your TESOL certificate. You're also going to submit your resume. You will also need to submit an affidavit on how you got your job. For this affidavit, you simply need to go to any Notary Public and tell them that you need to do a statement about how you found your job, and most likely they will have a template for you. Lastly, you need to submit proof or certificate of insurance or the OFW compulsory insurance. Paramount Life and General Insurance as well as MAFRE offers this kind of insurance. And it doesn't cost much, it's only about 2,000 pesos. You need to bring all of your original documents with you, but to save time, make sure that you photocopy 2 or 3 copies of those original documents. Because when you get to the POEA to apply for your OEC, the person there will only check your original documents and will ask you to submit photocopies of all of those documents. So you can save time by already having the photocopies on hand. If your documents are all good, then you're done for the day. All you have to do now is to wait for your clearance, and you can check this online. I will leave the link to the POEA website where you can find the direct hires with approved POEA clearance. So before we move on to the next step to getting your OEC, let's do our recap. Your employer needs to get their contract authenticated either in the embassy in Beijing or the consulates in Shanghai or in Guangzhou. They will need to get their business license, company profile, and Chinese citizen ID notarized by a local Chinese Notary Public, and then they need to get that authenticated or red ribbon at the embassy in Beijing or the consulates in Shanghai or in Guangzhou. When you receive those red ribbon documents from your employer, you can go to the POEA and apply for your OEC. You need to bring your passport, work visa, authenticated employment contract, your employer's authenticated business license, company profile, and Chinese citizen ID, your certificate of employment, your PRC ID if you're a licensed teacher, or your TEFL or your TESOL certificate, an affidavit or a statement on how you got your job, and this needs to be notarized, and a certificate or proof of insurance. Photocopy all of these documents and bring both the original documents and the photocopy documents to the POEA when you go and apply for your OEC. The officer in POEA will check your original documents first, but will ask or will take your photocopied documents for the application. After that, you need to wait about a week until you receive the clearance from the POEA. The link for the POEA website where you can find whether or not you have already been cleared is in the description box down below. When you get your direct hire clearance, you need to go to the POEA for the last step of your OEC application. When you get there, you need to set up your POEA e-services profile, submit the medical certificate I mentioned earlier, and you will also need to attend 2 seminars. One is the Pre-Employment Orientation Seminar or PEOS. This takes under an hour and you do this online, and then you're going to get a certificate for that. The second one is the Pre-Departure Orientation Seminar or the PDOS. This is a 2-hour seminar, and after that, you're going to get a certificate as well. So after you get your clearance, you go back to the POEA, you're going to do 4 things. One is to set up your POEA e-services profile. 2 is to submit your DOH accredited medical certificate. No need to notarize. 3rd is to attend and to get the certificate for the Pre-Employment Orientation Seminar or the PEOS. And 4th, to attend and get the certificate for the PDOS or the Pre-Departure Orientation Seminar. So the second time you go there, you need to submit 4 things, and after you do that, you just need to wait, and in about an hour or 2, you're going to get your OEC. So as usual, let's do a grand recap. To apply for an OEC, the first thing that you need to do is to get your employer authenticate or red ribbon your employment contract in the embassy in Beijing or the consulates in Shanghai or Guangzhou. They will also need to authenticate their business license, company profile, and Chinese citizen ID, but remind them that before they get this authenticated, they need to translate it into English, and they need to get it notarized by a local notary public. When you receive these documents from them, you can now proceed with the POEA. On the day that you will go to the POEA, you need to bring with you your passport, your work visa, your authenticated employment contract, your employer's authenticated business license, company profile, and Chinese citizen ID, your certificate or certificates of employment, your PRC ID if you're a licensed teacher, or your TEFL or TESOL certificate. You will also need to submit a resume, a notarized statement on how you got your job, and a proof or a certificate of insurance. If your documents are all good, then keep checking the POEA link that I have in the description box down below to see if you already got your POEA clearance. Once you get your clearance, you need need to go back to the POEA to set up your e-services profile, submit your medical certificate, and you also need to attend and get a certificate for your PEOS as well as for the PDOS. If you finish all of these seminars before the end of the workday, all you need to do is to wait for a little bit and you're going to get your OEC. Once you get your OEC, you're ready to start working in China. So that's it guys, that's our video for today. I hope that you found this informative and I hope that you found this helpful. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and share this with your friends who are interested in working in China. Or if you have any comments, questions, or suggestions about anything I said in the video, don't hesitate to comment down below. Thank you for watching guys. See you next time. Bye! 下次见!